Most dog owners know that leaving their pets home alone can be really difficult. Dogs are always so excited to see their owners after they come home. They stand either by the window or by the door so they can be ready for us when we walk through. Luis is a homeless man. He lives on the streets of Piedmont City in Peneira, Brazil, and he has been homeless for 20 years. Luis has been diagnosed with psychiatric problems, but he refuses medical help. He lives on the streets alone, but he is never lonely. He has a group of friends he goes with, and some of them are dog friends who follow Luis wherever he goes. One night, Luis suffered from a stroke and had to be rushed to the hospital. The dogs chased the ambulance, and once Luis was taken inside, 6 dogs waited outside the Santa Casa hospital. The dogs could be heard crying and howling from the entrance. After a while, they laid on the ground, refusing to leave. It was a touching scene for those at the hospital. The dogs patiently waited for Luis, staying there for hours. After getting treated, Luis left through a different door and didn't see the dogs. He was brought to his brother's house after getting discharged. However, the dogs were still waiting for him, so one of the volunteers reunited Luis with the dogs. The dog was so happy to see Luis, and it was such a heartwarming moment for everyone. Hachiko. It is no understatement when dogs are called loyal companions. Many loyal dog breeds have been known for patiently waiting for their humans to return, whether it be days, weeks, or even months. But the story of Hachiko is by far one of the greatest stories told of a dog that remained loyal to his owner. Throughout the years, many people have wondered what is the most loyal dog. The truth is, all dogs are loyal to their beloved owners. Have you ever heard of Hachiko, the dog? No. If you ever go to Japan, the odds are you will hear about him. Hachiko is a national hero to the Japanese. A dog so famous, there have been several movies made about him. He has his own bronze statue next to Shibuya train station in Tokyo, where every day hundreds of people have the photograph taken with him. Even Hollywood has made a movie about Hachiko. There is a statue of him at Rhode Island in the USA, where the American version of the film was made. So why is the Hachiko story so famous? You may wonder. Well, I am happy you asked, because here I will give you the amazing, real, and very sad story about Hachiko the dog. Asaburo Ueno, a professor in agriculture science at Tokyo University in Japan, had long wanted a purebred Japanese Akita dog. He had looked for the perfect Akita puppy for a long time, until one of his students encouraged him to adopt Hachiko from the Odate city in the Akita prefecture of Japan. Hachiko, or Hachi, which became his nickname, and his new owner soon became best friends. Asaburo loved his dear dog above all and treated him as his son. The two of them were inseparable. As Hachiko grew older, he started to see his owner off to work in the morning at the Shibuya train station in central Tokyo, and went to pick him up at the station in the afternoon when he returned from work. On May 21, 1925, only 2 years after Hachiko was born, Hachiko was usually sitting by the exit at Shibuya train station waiting for his dear Asaburo, but his owner never showed up. It turns out Asaburo had suffered from a cerebral hemorrhage and had died suddenly whilst at work. Hachiko moved in with a former gardener of the Ueno family, but throughout the rest of his 10-year-long life, he kept going to the Shibuya train station every morning and afternoon, precisely when the train was due to enter the station. He sat there for hours patiently waiting in vain for the return of his beloved owner, which sadly never came back. A major Japanese newspaper reporter picked up the story of Hachiko in 1932 and published it, which led to Hachiko becoming a celebrity all over Japan. People started calling him Hachiko, the faithful dog. The story of the dog that never gave up gained a lot of attention, also in the national media, inspiring many people from all over the world to visit Hachiko at Shibuya Station to offer him treats. He touched the hearts of the Japanese people and soon became their hero. In 1934, a statue of Hachiko was unveiled at a grand ceremony in front of Shibuya train station, with Hachiko himself present as the main guest. Hachiko passed away peacefully and alone on the street near Shibuya train station on March 8, 1935. If you are ever in Tokyo, you can take a swing by the National Science Museum in Ueno, Tokyo, and see a statue of him on display. There is also a monument of Hachiko next to its owner's tomb in Ueno-yama Cemetery in Today. Today, the Hachiko bronze statue is a popular attraction outside of Shibuya train station, especially among young Japanese. There have actually been 2 Hachiko bronze statues in Tokyo. The first one was removed during World War II and melted as a source of metal. Also, on the wall of the Shibuya station, there is a huge, beautiful mosaic artwork of Hachiko, Shibuya train station, Tokyo. There is even an Akita dog museum in Japan, which honors the most famous Akita dog in the world, Hachiko. It is located in Odate City, in the Akita prefecture of Japan. Our third story is about the pigeon and the man. Every day, thousands of doctors around the world are fighting for people's lives, performing real achievements, and given the impact due to the COVID-19 pandemic, they're hardly surprised with anything. When one is unlucky enough to be admitted to hospital, family members and friends are almost sure to visit. Sometimes support can come from where you least expect it. And even when you feel like everyone has long forgotten about you. Anastasia is a nurse who works at Red Cross Hospital in Athens, Greece. One day, she was shocked when she turned up for a daily shift. An elderly man was admitted to her hospital with a heart attack. One of his neighbors noticed that the man wasn't feeling well and called the ambulance on him. At the hospital, the man was immediately transported into surgery. The doctors and nurses all worked quickly and in doing so, managed to save the man's life. In the days and weeks of his hospitalization, no one came to visit him, not a family member, friend, or acquaintance. Due to his old age and the possibility of his condition deteriorating quickly, the man spent some time in the intensive room unit. At the same time, none of the hospital staff could predict what strange things would soon follow from his room. Anastasia noticed the pigeon perched up on the window ledge of the intensive care unit. She didn't take any notice of it. It wasn't all that unusual to see birds sitting there from time. The next day, the gray-feathered bird was still sitting in the same spot outside the man's window. The bird was firmly focused on the man, with no amount of heat nor hail deterring him from his position. As time passed, the man got better and was transferred to another room with other patients. Despite the man moving, the pigeon never flew away. Instead, it moved outside of the room and the man was in. Why was it doing this? Sometimes the pigeon left the windowsill, but always returned. One time it even nervously packed at the window. This happened for several days. One day, as the hospital staff opened the windows to let the fresh air in, the pigeon flew in and landed on the old man's bed. While he was fast asleep, the pigeon walked around for a bit and then proceeded to settle down on the windowsill looking out. It was almost as if the bird was keeping a watchful eye over the man. But why? Anastasia noticed the pigeon and immediately chased it outside. However, since it was still summer, the hospital staff had to open the windows in each room all the time. The next day, the same as before, the pigeon flew into the man's room and did the same things as the previous day. Initially, Anastasia wanted to chase away the bird, but she was intrigued as to why it kept going to the man's window. So she watched it to see what it would do. The pigeon jumped onto the man's shoulder and then a short time later went onto the window ledge before it flew away and circled nearby. The bird continued to do this for the days that followed. No one knew why. The pigeon would even fly in when the man was awake. However, the old man never chased it away. The man would often utter something softly under his breath and wouldn't take his eyes off. It was only when the man was well enough to go outside to sit on a bench in a park near the hospital that the intended nurse found out why. The man was surrounded by a flock of pigeons whom he fed with breadcrumbs he'd saved from his hospital food. The pigeon who visited the man must have been among the pigeons he'd regularly fed. The grateful pigeon shows us that perhaps doing a kind deed can come back in ways that one may not expect. In the elderly man's case, he had a little friend for company. even though he may not have human visitors. However, pigeons usually shouldn't be allowed in hospitals since they can be unsanitary or carry airborne diseases. Who we guess this is a rare special case. Several social media users shared the image on their profiles and groups. The photo is posted on Facebook in 2013 and garnered several thousands of likes and shares. While some share the same message, others alter the words and invited people to reflect on the thought in the message. There are several stories regarding this picture, and is not sure if it's 100% true or if the story is false. What do you think about it? It is interesting and significant that a wild pigeon would fly into a building, a hospital room, and stand on the body of a sleeping man. That is not normal pigeon behavior. I hope you liked this video. Please share it and subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.